249 subscribers. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to build a chatbot for a restaurant which will be able to book the tables and then confirm the bookings using the Voice AI agent. I'll show you everything in live. I don't have anything set up so that you can follow through and build it yourself. Okay. First, we will build a base on Voiceflow. Then we will build the Voice AI assistant itself using Vapi. We'll connect different tools together using Make because we need to book the reservations inside, let's say, Google Calendar. And then we have the Airtable as a base where we will actually store all these bookings. Okay. So for now, let's actually create a new agent, maybe demo, rest. Let's choose chat. Let's create an agent. We need to first build the basics, right, on how it's going to interact and what information we want to receive from the clients. Okay, so let's actually start with maybe a response AI. I don't like to use the static text block. We can obviously say, hi, how are you? But what I usually like to do is I usually like to do everything through AI, something like let greeting the user and ask how you can help. What we usually also do if we go to set AI, sorry, not set AI, but set block, and we create a variable called maybe bot description. So here we will provide the context on what is the bot about. So like the instructions to the LLM. You are a helpful assistant for a restaurant, whatever, called Joshtown. You help people to book tables and provide basic information, something like that. Okay, and I do believe that we need to do these things. So this way we set the variable of the bot description, and now in the prompt settings, let's choose GPT 4.0, and we can say this is the bot description for the system prompt. Greeting the user, ask how you can help, be creative and short, just one sentence, add one emoji, something like that. Now we will capture the reply for the user. One thing I want to mention is, let me actually open the Voiceflow and I will copy a few things from the previous demo project. By the way, guys, you have the full access to all the templates that I built for free in my resource hub. So check the first link in the description. Again, you can just download everything and copy and paste it to your project. What I want to do is there is a block called memory. And this is what I usually do in all of the projects so that we can save internet access anyways. So it should be somewhere here. This is a custom function called memory. Memory basically will allow us to save all the conversation history in one variable. But as you can see, there is nothing here because we need to actually create a custom function because it's not created. If you will copy and paste my project, you'll actually see it right away. But let's build it from scratch. So if we go here, we copy it, we create a new function, we say maybe memory, and then we copy and paste it here. We delete these parts. Now we copy the input variables to here. This is very important step because I don't think that for this specific assistant we need the huge conversation history, but in case your clients will speak to the assistant for a while, we want to provide the context to the LLM with the whole conversation history. And this is one of the ways how you can actually do that. And we actually create the path with success, and we should be ready to go if we choose memory now. We need to create a variable called custom memory. So this variable will store all the information what user input and what bot responded. So sorry, it's custom memory. Okay, so now we're ready to go. Go from here. For some reason it's lagging. Let's reload. Now, let's say the customer says, hi, how are you? All these things. When a user want to book a table, we want to actually send him to another flow. So let's create an intent. Let's remove all the intents. So let's create an intent and call it book a table. And something like what user can say, I want to book a table. Let's book something. What do you have available? And let's actually generate 10 samples. We do secure a table for dinner. Okay, so and for the description, since we're gonna use the LLM classification, we can say trigger this intent when user wants to book a table. Create an intent. Now we will use the not NLU but LLM, and for the LLM we should use probably Sonnet. And this is actually, you know, the prompt that we provide on to the LLM to classify the intent. So you're given you're in a classification system, and we can say you are an assistant designed to identify when user want to book a table. Yes, we have just one intent, so it's easier to do it like that. Okay. Anyways, now, so we should loop this conversation and say maybe response AI, say, this user might say hi, right? So we need to respond to the user. We can say answer the user last utterance, and we can say last utterance, and maybe, you know, copy everything here, like be creative, be short, and do one emoji. Okay. Now we provide the bot description here, and for this we use this one, and for the creative max talkings we don't actually need it. Now we are gonna do the same thing. So we are waiting for the user response, right? And then we're saving this thing into the memory variable again, since we want to save everything, and then basically go back here. So we are looping this inside. This is like the greeting, right? And this is the actual loop to provide the information to the user. Now, we want to add a trigger. Now, the trigger is basically our intent, right? So when the user want to book a table, what do we actually want? Now, let's think about it. User might say, I want to book a table. Of course, there are a lot of different scenarios on what you might want to do, but let's, for the sake of this example, let's say what time, right? So let's say response AI, and we can mention, oh, sorry, here is very important. We need to provide the context because we are saving the whole memory into the variable. So use the conversation history as the reference. And this is the basically the custom memory, right? So that has all the information. Now, you can actually copy it and paste it here, but obviously it's going to be different. So user user said that he wants to book a table. Your goal is to get the information from him. Ask. I'm not sure why it's doing this. You see, it's not working properly when you press enter. Ask see, ask what time he prefers. You need to get date and exact time. Something like that. Be creative, last utterance, so all these things. Now, the problem is that we don't want the bot to be very static. And let's say when the user might say something like, let's book it for 3 p.m. But if we go further, we don't have the date. So in order to go further, what we can do, we actually will do the the capture. We will also save this thing into the memory variable. But then, Jesus, okay, so then we need to do the set AI step. And here's what we can say. Your goal is to identify if we have all the information from the user to move on. In order to move on, we must have the exact date and time from the user for the booking. You let's say if you have if let's say if we have all the information, date and time, output 1. If we don't have all the information, output 2. Let's say you must always output either 1 or 2, no other characters, words, or anything, just 1 or 2, something like that, right? And of course, for this specific thing, we need to use the really good model, and for the system, we'll just duplicate it, right? Like that. For the temperature, it's very important to lower it down to at least 0.1, because we don't want the AI to be creative, right? So we want it to strictly follow the prompt. Now we can create a variable is, okay, not sure what happened. So we can do something like is all, something like that. Now, so it will output either 1 or 2. By the way, we forgot to put the GPT 4.0 here and body description. Now, we want to provide the condition. Basically, if the variable is all, 1 means that the user provided all the information, do one thing. If the variable is all, basically 2, do another thing. So if we have not got all the information right from the user, we can look at here so that AI asks for the clarification. But if we have everything, what we can do here, let's think. Now, user provided us all the information. Let's say the Thursday, 3 p.m., like this Thursday, 3 p.m. Now, very, very important part. Let's actually, no, we saved it here already. Okay, we can, I think, let's skip this part. This is just for the reference, this is because I think we might use some scripts from here as the API request and then stringify. Anyways, now, so what we need to do is we need to book this time in our calendar. And you might say, Eugene, we first need to check if the time is even available, or maybe provide some data options. You're right, but in order to do that, we would need to spend like another 15 minutes building the whole thing. I have a few videos on this channel where I cover the availability on how the AI can check the availability. But if you ask me in the comments, tell me, like, if I get any comment, I will create another tutorial. But let's imagine right now that we can book anytime, right? So when we have this time and date, we need to book the thing in the calendar. Obviously, if you are a restaurant owner or if you are working with any sort of a business that have like scheduling, and if it's not a service-based business, usually they use some sort of a scheduling software. If it's the modern software, they should have APIs, and you should be able to connect to the APIs and create the request to create the booking there. But in this case, let's just use the Google. So we will use make. I think you're all familiar with that. So we can go, and create this scenario from scratch. I just didn't want to prepare this so that you can follow through. Now, we need to trigger the webhook, right? Because this is how we let make know that we want to book something or do something inside this scenario. Now, we will create the webhook, doesn't matter. Now we have it. Now, we need to trigger this specific webhook from here. How it's done is through the dev API step. Now, we are using post and we're providing this webhook. And we should be able, maybe we, in the headers, we can provide, because I have it here so that, content type. Again, guys, you will have the template. So I'm building it from scratch, but I will upload it in my resource hub. So you can just download and copy. So it's easier for you. Now, if we test it right now, let's actually move it here. So if we save it and run, so if we test it, we should be able to. Anyways, I forgot that we need to put the body here. So in the body, we will put obviously like the test and hello from Voiceflow. So this is what we receive in here. So here we will provide like the email, the name, and the date. Now, basically when we receive, let's say, the webhook with all this information, we need to create the Google Calendar event. Again, you can do this through, Calendly or cal.com. And I actually never done it through Google Calendar. I usually use cal.com. But let's actually see, because I think maybe it's going to be easier. So we create an event in the calendar. Let's say this is my primary calendar event name, maybe booking test, start date, end date, duration. Okay, so we don't actually need to have the email here, I think, because we can technically, we should be able to, but like the guest, but I I think like we don't need to do it here, but what we need to do, have the email and the phone and the name for the confirmation when the AI will call this user and ask, okay, hi, do you confirm your booking? And you can do it in a lot of different ways, but anyways, let's actually get this information from the user. Here's what we can do. Technically, you can create like a few different steps where here you ask for the the exact time, and then you ask for the name. Here's what we also can do. Your goal is to get the info, like all the information from the user. Here is information you need to get from him. Let's say we need a name, we need, let's say, email, we need phone number, what else we need, and date for the booking, time for the booking. Now, here is the last user utterance. Okay. Now, the problem is that, again, I don't really like to build static bots. So now it will ask something like, hey, provide me your name, email, phone number, like all these things. And maybe it's easier, but let's create something more creative when it's very dynamic. So we can provide like the rules. Rules. You must always ask only one question at a time. Like, what is uh, because like what's your name? It is a very static question. Like maybe how what's your name? What is your name? Or what time do you want to book for? Again, just one question at a time. Okay, now it will ask one question and then go further. Obviously, here we need to be a bit more, we need to add a bit more information. So identify, is the user provided all the information? We have all the information. In order to move, we must have, and this is what we must have from the user, right? We must have the name, the time of the booking. Again, in order to move forward, we must have all the information from the user. Refer to conversation history. Now, if we have all the information, list above, output 1. If we don't have all the information, output 2. And now it's very, very important to provide the memory, right? Because let's say when the user will provide just the name, obviously, let's say the user provide like the name, let's say like the bot asks, what's your name? Eugene, what's the available time? This, and what's the email? This. But if we don't provide the custom memory, obviously AI will just analyze the last message and will not know that the user already provided the information. Here, Jesus, okay. Here is the last user utterance. Last utterance. Okay, something like that. Okay. Now, it should be able to do all these things. Now, when we have everything, wait, Jesus. Okay. The problem now. So the problem is that let's say that like the user go back and forth with the bot and get like provide all the information, right? Now we need to pass all this information to make, right? So we need to pass it. But in order to pass this information correctly, we need to have like hello from Voiceflow. We need kind of, do the variable here, right? But we don't have these items saved in the variable. So there are, again, a few different ways to do that. So maybe here's what we can do. We can set AI, and we can set multiple AI steps here. Let's say apply to name. Let's actually do lowercase name. Now, your goal is to analyze the whole conversation with the user and find his name. No, find his name and output it. You must always only output the username, no other words, symbols, or explainers. Just output the username. Here is the last, and we can just copy it from here because we don't like technically need to provide the last user utterance since it's already saved in the memory, but just in case, so let's do that. So we do it like this, right? So because we already have it, so because with this condition step, it will not go to this block if we don't have this information, so we can freely ask for it. Now we will go we'll go for this model. We'll pass it here, and we can maximize the max token output. Max tokens, because we are providing the custom memory function, custom memory variable, which save the whole conversation, and there are probably a lot of characters. So now we need to duplicate it multiple times and do the same thing, and find conversation with the and find his email, basically his email. Find his email and output the user email. No, just output the user email. Okay, now we will save it in the variable called email. Okay, now we'll do the same thing for a again. There are probably a better way to do that, but for the sake of this example, find his phone number there and output it. So I can the user phone number. Here's the last utterance, and yeah, so it should be again should be good. Now let's do the same thing for a for the time, for the date and time. Now it's tricky because we need to find his phone number. Yes, I don't think that I have it here. I have it somewhere in my templates, but let's do it from scratch. I'll explain what. Let's first find the date and time he wants, something like that. The output just the user preferred date, preferred date. Now, this is the interesting part. We actually need to have the date in very specific format, right? So because there are like make allows a few different formats, but if we go here, we can like this is ISO 8601. So what we can do, we can ask maybe hi. We can ask Claude, hi, can you please create a prompt for ChatGPT to convert the date that user input into very specific format for make attached documentation documentations anyways. So now it will create the prompt, but we'll just use some portion. Yeah, so this is kind of the format. The user provided it, please convert it to the AI. So I think the AI should understand, but maybe please provide the format should be like this. So what we can do is we don't actually wait. So demo rest. So rules. Let's divide it here. Let's divide it here, and the user provided a date. Let's do everything. So okay, now be creative. You must always provide the date in the ISO format. Now, we are not actually asking AI, so we can maybe duplicate it just in case here. Just in case, so same thing here, same thing here, and same thing here. Now, when the sequence will be completed, we will have everything, I think, in the, wait, so email, this is the phone number. We didn't change the variable. So we need to actually change the phone, and we actually need to change this to, let's say, date. Okay, date. Now, what we want to do is we want to pass all this data to make. Name will be basically our name variable. Okay, and we can do, let's actually copy and paste it multiple times, whatever, and we need to put commas, I believe. So if we put here the email, right, the email, then we put the phone, and then we kind of put the phone, the date, right? Sorry, date, and now this is date, this is phone, this is email. Okay, it should work. I think we can test it. Obviously, we can test it. Obviously, let's actually test it. So first, we need to train this thing since we have a intent. We have the book Airtable intent. Now, when we say hi, how are you doing? I want to book a table. What's your name? Eugene Kadzin. Now, it will obviously go back. Nice to meet you. What's your email address? eugenekadzin@gmail.com. Before we continue, so let's actually start this scenario. So let's remove this module and let's actually start it here. What's the phone number? Okay, so I believe my 1585. Which one is it for this that we're gonna use for the demo? Give me one moment, please. Yeah, so I found this one. It's 570 647 4506. Okay, so this is just a demo phone. It can continue. Now it should ask for the date. Let's simplify it. Maybe say something like let's do 22nd July, maybe at 3 p.m. Something like that. Now, since we have all the information, it will go to the next steps. We'll do all this and we'll call the thing. Now, we have everything passed here. What we need to do is we need to create the Google event. Again, create an event. Again, just to simplify it, you can play around with it, obviously. Let's call it Eugene Kadzin for the sake of this example. For the start date, let's choose the date. For the end date, let's actually not. I'm not sure. Should we? Because I've never actually done the duration. Can we do that in here? Timestamp. Here. Can we pass it duration? Format hours and minutes. Okay, so let's do for 0 to 00, like 2 hours maybe. Okay, so should be good now. I'm not gonna test it for it now. Now, let's say that we create this event, and before that, you like add additional steps, like for the verification, for getting all the details, and then you would ask, okay, so this, in here, when the user provide the date, you would do the same kind of request and then check the availability and say, okay, this time is not available, but here are some empty slots. And again, I have the video on this channel on how to do that. But the problem is that, not the problem, the goal right now is to call this prospect. Guys, like we can do it a bit differently, not a bit differently. We can do it in a lot of different ways. The first one is just to call right now. So what we can do, we can do the HTTP request to make the request. So there is a service called Vapi. I talk about it a lot on this channel. So Vapi is basically a platform where you can create voice assistants, and then you can create, like, call this assistants, call them, make them call the people from external services through the API. And I'll show you how it works. But you can obviously, create it using like no code and very simple interface here. There are plenty of videos on YouTube, and I have a few. But what I was trying to say is that, let's say we create this assistant, and we let this assistant and ask this assistant for, to call this prospect and verify the information. But why would we do that, right? So why would we, after he just like provided all the information, why would AI call and say, "Hey, Eugene, just making sure uh, you input all the details," right? So we can do that through chat interface. So why would we need to call? It's just some fancy things which are not important. But what is important is the reminder. If you remember, when you book something in a fancy restaurant, usually they call you in advance to make sure that you come in, right? As a reminder. So usually it happens like in a few hours or at the same day. So let's do, in the same day. And so how to do that? So let's say we booked the thing for when? We booked the for July 22nd. 22nd, yes, at 9 a.m. White's 9 a.m. by the way. In White's 2023. Okay, I got it right now. So why it's doing that is because, yeah, I missed it. So because this model, when we are asking the AI to provide us the date, the AI doesn't know what is today's date, right? So it doesn't know that. So that's why it's just providing some random numbers. Um, like, sure, you can, like, in the rules you can say, hey, today's date is like July 14th, but what's gonna happen to the next day? So what you can do is you can pass this, you can, without formatting this thing. Oh, no, wait. This is my bad. Sorry. AI like doesn't know what today's date is, right? But the user provided the date. So why did he actually July 22nd? This is what I did, but why it's 9 a.m.? Sorry. Again, this is in the live. This is the live format video, so that's why I'm messing this up. I'm not sure actually. Okay, we'll figure this out later. Anyways, so let's say we have the date now. So when the usually the restaurants open, at in after afternoon. So at this date, let's say at some point of time, we should call the prospect to say, "Hey, you have the booking today. So do you confirm it? Are you going to come?" Basically. Now, how we actually do that? Again, there are, like, with all this no code AI tools, you can do a lot of different things a lot differently. So what we actually can do, we can create an Airtable base for to store all the bookings. Again, in the real use case, the restaurant will probably have its own software to manage it all, but it will depend on either they provide the APIs or not, and you would need to do a certain, like, additional steps. But like, this is kind of an easier scenario. So let's say that we create this like the base here, and what we can do is, Jesus, okay, so let's reload it. So what we can do is, let's say we provide the name. Again, we provide the, like, the email of the user, and we provide the phone, phone, like the phone, and we have the date, right? So we have the date, and the Airtable, I think, does approve the same format. So now, after the booking has been created, we can create basically an Airtable record. Uh, Airtable, we can, where's the search, create a record, right? So we can create a record in, it's not untitled, so let's do something like demo again, demo rest, same way as Voiceflow, and table one. Okay, so if we do the base, let's reload it. So demo rest, the table one, and now we have all the information from here. So we can just basically input the name, input the email, input the phone number, and input the date. Okay, now we'll save it. Okay, so it will create the record here. Now, what's next? When the date comes, we need to call the prospect. This scenario is done, right? It's not gonna be like, I think you can technically wait inside this scenario and create a temporary database, but like it's a mess, so it's easier to do it through Airtable. So what we can do, we can create another scenario, and let's call it, let's call it Voiceflow Google event created. Again, guys, all the like the Voiceflow template, the make templates, and as you can see here, like I export the blueprint and you can just import it, will be in my resource hub. This is my resource hub with all the information. So like the first link in the description, by the way, it's free. So what we need to do here is, let me show you. We will create an automation. Basically, when a record matches certain condition, and then when the record in the table one matches the condition, so we need to choose the field, and the field will be basically the date, right? And when the date is, let's say, is today, right? Is today, and this is this is like my time zone, so you should make sure that you have the right time zone in Airtable. So yeah, basically, sorry, so this is when the date is today, it will trigger this automation. So this will be triggered. What happens then? We need to call the API of Vapi, right? So we need to call the Vapi API. So again, sorry, I'll turn it off. Let's actually create a system from scratch in Vapi. We can do it from here, and we can like demo rest, and we can do the blank template. We don't really need to fill anything here, because we will, when we create the API and we will make the request, not to create the API, when we create the API request, we will overwrite this system prompt and the first message. So we don't actually need to input anything like that. We just need to know this ID, right? This is the demo rest. This is the ID of this assistant. And we have the phone number. So I have a few from Twilio, and this is the one that I bought here. Again, you can, buy it for like $2 and copy it. So let's say this, like today, happen, and then we need to call the API of the Vapi to make the assistant to call the prospect, right? So to do that, you can kinda do it differently. So you can do it through make. So you can create a custom webhook, right? You can create a custom webhook. You can copy the URL, and this is the tricky part. I'm not a coder, so when I mentioned it multiple times, when I'm learning the same way as you do when it comes to codings for this channel specifically. But when it comes to the project, so I have to like the developer not team, but like the guys that working part-time that are building all the integrations. So obviously, I'm not able to do it like myself to write the whole script, because we need to run the script. We need to run the script, and like that will be triggered by the trigger that we provided earlier here. So in this script, we can do two things, I think. The first one is the most obvious. We can call this webhook, and from here we can call Vapi. What we also can do, like we can technically call Vapi API from here. So why would we need to do it through make, right? So if we can do it from here, and this is the fun part. So let's actually do that. Now, Vapi has great documentation, and you can actually play around. So this is the link. So you go to API reference, create a call, and for the authorization, it will provide your API key even if you signed in. And you can configure it yourself, and it will provide you curl, and you can just copy it and paste it. But you're not able to copy it and paste it here, since it's yes, a code editor. So you need to set a few things differently. So here is what we should do. This is the Claude, and I think this Claude has like some memory with triggering some calls in Airtable. So, but to make it fair, let's say I I want to create a script in Airtable to call Vapi API and make a phone call, right? Now, we need to provide, so it will know, since it's trained on the data, so it will know what kind of script and what format of the script we should provide here in Airtable, since we mentioned Airtable. But if it doesn't, so we will just get the references and we'll test it. But in order to do that, we need to provide the documentation of, let's say, the Vapi. So what we like, I usually just copy it and paste it here. I attached the API references from Vapi. What we also need to do is my API key is again, if you're logged in, you will see it, I think, here, right? So you'll see it here. Jesus. Okay, so let's actually yeah, so this is the weird thing that Claude does. So let me do that through no, it was not copied for some reason. Okay, so if we copy it here and we provide it here, okay, so my assistant ID is and let's go here and create this is the assistant 8 ID. No, this is the demo rest, right? So this is the ID, the phone number ID. This is the phone number ID. Now, and I want you to overwrite first message and the prompt. The goal is to confirm user details. And since we are triggering this this scenario, this script inside Airtable, all the information about the user is located in the Airtable. So you should reference it. Basically, reference it in the prompt and in first message, like hi, name, Jesus, name, calling you to. Now, So the problem that I remember is that it have hard time to actually providing the variable here so, to reference, so we can actually do it like manually. I think, or not even sure. So I'm not even sure how do we even reference it here. Okay, anyways, so let's actually start it and see where it goes. Okay, so let the base partner, business partner. Yeah, so this is the last base. This is the previous base. So let's actually update it. So this is the new Airtable base, uh, and this is the name of the table. This is the name of the table is table one. Table one. We need to confirm user full name, uh, user, let's say name, email, email, phone, and date for reservation. I forgot to mention that this uh, this AI is basically confirming the date for um, the booking that the user did in our restaurant. Okay, so we also need to say the and all these uh, things are located in the fields. I'm not sure if it's gonna like reference these fields. I think you get the problem, right? So when we create the script, let's say it will create the script and it will provide the prompt to the AI. But now it needs to provide in the prompt, it needs to say, your goal is to confirm this date for this user, this email, this phone number, so that it needs to reference this things from the Airtable. And I'm not even sure how it's going to do that just yet. So as you can see, this is the huge script. So let's test it. Let's actually test it. So this is, as you can see, name, uh, prepare for the hello name. So this is how to reference this name, email, format. Your goal is the system assistant. So it's like it's doing the right thing, I think. From what I see on the URL, so it's calling this API endpoint, and this is the endpoint, right? So content authorization. So it's doing all the correct things. So if we actually test it, let's see. Let's see if we get something. I'm not sure. Okay, so failed to initiate the call. Let's say that this is the thing that I received. Failed to initiate the call. Let's see. Yes, if it's not able to do that, I'm just gonna stop the recording and figure this out myself. Uh, so what it says, I apologize for the error. Error typically means there's an issue with the data sending to the API. Let's troubleshoot the request. Because if we're not able to figure this out, we'll just do it through Webhook. Let's see. Let's see. Because yeah, so initially we are doing multiple things here. Failed bad request. A message assistant must be one of the following values. OpenAI. Okay, so this is the console error, and this is the good thing because I remember that it was not actually doing that at one time. So this is, this is how my coding goes. It's back and forth with the AI to figure it out what is the correct script. Because here we need to mention that somewhere that it's basically OpenAI. Okay, so let's copy it and paste it here. Unsuccessful. Okay, so must be one of the following values. Okay, yeah. So the last time, if it's not gonna work, I'm gonna stop. Why is doing assistant overrides? Yeah, sure. Because we actually essentially, we created the assistant, and this is the model that we provide. So it needs to override this model. Right. So let's test it. Invalid phone number. Okay, now invalid phone number is a good thing because I'm not sure, like it doesn't have anything to test, so we can say unable to proceed because invalid phone number, and we can say for the sake of this test, can you replace phone number with this? And we can provide my phone number, basically 1-570-647-4506. Okay, so let's actually see. It's doing GPT 3.0 Turbo. Okay, your restaurant assistant. Post request. Where is it? Yeah, so this is the formatted number. So let's see. It's actually going to do that test. Okay, so I received this phone call. So let's actually answer and see what it has to say.
Hello, customer. This is a call to confirm your restaurant reservation.
Hi, sure. Yeah.
Great. Can you please confirm the date and time of your reservation, as well as the number of people in your...
Yeah, so basically, as you can see, it doesn't have anything because it didn't even have the phone number. So it's referencing the name and the email, be professional, polite. Hello, this is the first message content. It's actually not like we need to create a bigger script. I think we need to say, obviously, your goal is to confirm this information. Let's actually do that. So it works. So can you remove the phone number and change it to last time? Also, the script to the prompt, basically the prompt to the AI must be very detailed. You need to provide a lot of context. You need to provide the script that the AI should follow, and all these things. Okay, so now I don't want, so this is already 1 hour. I think you got the idea. So obviously, let's recheck it again. Now we have the basic conversation. When the user want to book a table, we're asking to provide us all the information. When we have it here, so let's say we have it all, and then we call the API as this one, webhook. Sorry, we call the webhook and create the event, and then create the record in Airtable, right? So after that, you should say something like say that the booking uh, has been confirmed, and let the user know that we will call him um, the same day earlier to as as a reminder, something like that. Again, guys, like I think you are not that stupid that you can't figure this out yourself. Okay, so basically this is kind of done, right? So this is kind of done. It creates the event in the calendar, uh and then it goes to here. Let's finish the editing. It creates the record. Switch on, yeah, switch on. It creates the record. We will test it right now, but yeah. So let's actually copy this code. This is, this is the huge deal. Okay. This one, yeah, it should work, right? So it should work. If it doesn't, in this case, because we won't be able to test it since this is programmed to trigger it the same day, right? So but you will have, so again, in my resource hub you will have the access to this table, and it will obviously have this automation. So if you no don't you should can just copy it and go to Claude, or you can go to ChatGPT and say, hey, I'm building this script inside Airtable, so this is the error, same way as I figured this out, right? So now we finish it. Uh, Unpublished changes, update. Okay, so it's on data now. This should work, right? This should work. The only problem is that in the date, right? So I'm not sure why it was not able to figure this out. Okay, so let's actually test it now. Let's say something like, again, uh, I want to book a table. Eugene Kanzen. Yeah, as you can see, it's not looking for the specific keyword, so we can say, oh, it is eugenkanzen@gmail.com. So it will still just get the email, since we're like providing this as an AI step. It will get the email from the conversation, and will save it in the variable. Jesus. Okay, I forgot my phone number again. We can go here. Where's my phone number? Um, so this one. Oh, okay. So this one. What we Okay. So let's make it easier for the AI. Let's do um, June 23rd, 2024 at 4 p.m. Obviously, no one's gonna say that it's 2024, but okay, just for the sake of this thing, let's see. Yeah, it was already actually triggered. Yeah, okay. So 3 a.m. Yeah, as you can like remember last time we said 3 p.m. and it was 9, and like now it's basically doing the 10, the time difference. So you need to specify what the time zone is. So this is great news. Your booking has been confirmed. Now, uh, did it actually book this thing in my calendar? Let's check. So this is the actual booking, right? So and now when the date will be 23rd, we will receive a phone call to this specific phone number. Now, if we go to my Google Calendar, this is just the test one. So let's actually switch the account. Google Calendar. Let's see. Should be able to see it. Should be able to see it somewhere. Okay, we don't. I think. I guess for some reason. Okay. So this is not this calendar. Um, okay. So why is this? Calendar ID Eugene at Climple Agency. Eugene at Climple Agency. So, what's up with that? 23rd. July. Is it July or June? 6th. Jesus. Okay, so it's June. How it was able to, yeah. So, and you would probably ask AI, yeah, as you can see here, using guidance. So you would probably ask AI here to, not, um, again, like if you ask to not provide the, like, to book the dates in the past, but I don't think that people are that stupid that they're gonna book something like that. But you would need to add some verification steps. Again, guys, thanks for watching. This is huge tutorial, I guess. Everything that I showed here will be in my resource hub. It's free. Thanks for watching. Peace.